Good morning? Por que good morning? Não é bom dia o X?
Bom
Why? Why good morning?
morning! Bom morning!
Eu não entendi, Buriti. Por que você mandou good morning UX hoje?
Nideridai. Nideridai. Nideridai,
E
nideridai.
pronto, agora liga aí sua legenda automática para você conseguir entender o que o Buriti vai
Ah,
falar durante essa live.
boa pergunta, né? O YouTube acho que não tem essa, né? Automática. Só depois.
Ainda não, ainda não. Eu espero que um dia tenha tradução automática instantânea. Inclusive, a gente
Um
pode
AI,
perguntar,
né?
a gente
Tá
pode
aí.
perguntar até para o nosso convidado se ele enxerga que isso é possível no futuro.
Que deve estar sofrendo ouvindo a gente falar agora.
Provavelmente, provavelmente. Mas seja muito bem-vindo e bem-vinda nesse Bom Dia UX, Bom Dia UX, ou Good Morning UX hoje, porque hoje vai ser um pouco diferente do que vocês estão acostumados. Não é mesmo, Buriti?
Ah,
Daqui a
Little.
pouquinho, daqui a pouquinho nós vamos apertar o botão, né, de áudio do streaming para inglês. Tá, mas enquanto isso, fica tranquila, fica tranquilo. A gente vai falar de uma forma devagar, uma forma tranquila. Nós dois, cheio de erros.
Até porque
Então,
eu preciso.
hã?
Até porque eu preciso falar devagar mesmo.
Todos nós. Então fique tranquilo e tranquilo. Nosso inglês não é de primeira, mas funciona, né? É understandable.
O que é de primeira, né? O que significa isso?
Exatamente. Olha lá, o Caio já mandou aqui, ó. Errar é humano. Olha lá. Mas recados importantes antes da gente
Making.
chavear para
Avisar
inglês.
pro, mandar o Altair assistir, né? A gente manda um Making Mistakes is Human.
Sim, 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 exato, exato. Eu tenho aula de inglês hoje, já vou encaminhar para ele já. Altair, our English teacher, look, look
Vai, tudo
this.
vai.
Recados. Temos Floripa Design Day acontecendo. Muito importante avisar vocês. Está aqui, ó. Dia 29/3, sábado, das 9 às 19 em Florianópolis, Santa Catarina. Quer saber mais? floripadesign.day.com.br. Acessa lá. É muito importante você saber um pouquinho desse evento e se rolar, vai pra lá. Aproveita e pega uma praia ainda, cara. Olha só, hein?
É isso, é
Eu
isso.
vou tentar ir nesse
Tá calor
Floripa
lá?
Design Day.
Tá calor lá?
Março, janeiro, fevereiro, março, né? É em março. Acho que tá terminando o verão. As águas de março. Lembra?
Mas acho que isso é mais no Sudeste, né? É isso que eu falo.
Rio de Janeiro, inclusive, né?
Eu acho.
Muito bom. Que mais que tem de recados importantes pra gente dar? Tem algum aí?
Os eventos que eu tinha falado aqui em Portugal estão para acontecer. Amanhã acontece aquele gathering lá, aquela reunião do Design Fail.
É amanhã?
É amanhã,
Tomorrow?
é amanhã no Porto. Não sei se ainda tem ingressos, mas quem estiver aqui pelo Porto, por favor, venha, será muito bem-vindo. E o CFC Gen Porto está acontecendo também. A Marília, que falou com a gente aqui no Bom Dia UX ano passado, vai estar palestrando lá sobre cidades inteligentes. A Catarina, que também falou com a gente aqui no Bom Dia UX, vai estar lá participando, facilitando os grupos. Então, também é um evento legal.
Legal. Então, ó, para você aí, temos eventos nacionais e internacionais acontecendo, hein? Portugal e Brasil. Muito bom. Vamos chavear agora de idioma?
Let's do this.
Are you ready for this?
No?
No? Never.
No. But I think Boris will be very, very kindful with us.
Oh, totally. I agree with you. Well, but will be a challenge for us because we spoke in English a few years ago, but was not alive, right? Was recorded.
Yeah, if you want to check this, we have I don't know, 10 or 15 shows recorded
Over 10, yes.
Yeah, with great names, really great
Yes,
names.
Donald Norman was the main
And
challenge.
you can check this here in YouTube, I suppose so. Do we have
Yes, in a Good
playlist of that?
Morning UX playlist. Yes,
You can
you're right.
you can see oh my, our track record in English, our improvement over these
Everything.
2 or 3 years, and
Yes.
a lot of good subject themes and discussions too. Please.
Yes. So, Eduardo Bouchard tell us, you are spending
Yeah.
o Fisk
Our
here,
CAA.
CCAA, cultura
Yeah.
inglesa,
Yeah.
everything you can imagine.
Oh, Boixá, I think we are using our Duolingo now.
Yeah, or Chat GPT.
No, that's
No,
not
not yet. Oh,
not yet.
but this is
Not
something.
online. Not
Oh,
online.
not online. Okay, no problem. But
Not in
okay,
live. Yeah.
enough. All right,
That's yeah.
let's call our
Bring
guest.
Boris. Yeah.
Yes, Boris, are we ready? Yes, yes. So come on. Let me find. Oh,
I mean,
yeah,
let's
the
see this in
claps.
English. Let's do this in English.
Yeah. Welcome to the Bom Dia
Bom
UX.
dia, UX. I think it will be the best I can do in Portuguese this morning with you guys. And yes,
Uh,
it's all because of me we're speaking Portuguese. If you know, my good friend Pedro Segredo is a key facilitator influencer living in Lisbon, but working a lot with Brazil. We always have this kind of fight when we're organizing meetups. Would it be in Brazilian? Of course, not in Portuguese, but in Brazilian or in English, and we're fighting all the time.
nice. But you speak very well Portuguese. We
Posso
can.
falar Posso falar, mas estou bom dia, UX, deve ter mais 1 hora para eu
Okay.
partilhar sobre a Artificial Intelligence.
No worries. Okay, no problem. Let's try in English. And as I said, a mix of Portuguese, English, everything together here will be nice. Our chat here today.
Amazing, amazing.
But thanks so much for accepting our invitation. And today will be an interesting challenge as we go here speaking English. It will be a mix, like I said. And before we dive in, could you quickly introduce yourself to those in your audience who might not know you yet, please?
So yeah, where to start? I think the most easily way to engage with my very prolific profile would be to say that I'm a creative guy. So of course, one part of my brain is very engineers, but basically I went all my life into creativity and creative process. And yeah, I move from being really like the designer and to become more as a digital and the innovator. Yeah, with during my life cycle, lifespan experiences, I move working for industrials, car industries, or airplane industries, aerospace, and banks, and many different sectors. And during that journey, basically, I moved from being the ergonomistic designer before we knew the UX word that came to us. And when I became this UX leader, I intend to be. I was already, triggering some digital innovation and try to see, okay, what's next, what's coming next, and so in this quest, all the languages, the tools, the frameworks, and the things you can, you can take when you're embracing a designer career. Yeah, came to me to become more and more, less and less a designer, more and more a product guy, and more a product, manager, because working for the company is not just designing PowerPoint, but starting to think how they can engage differently from from companies such Airbus, for example, where I had this role to create a platform to configure, design, and also follow, the construction of the plane. We're speaking about, from 3 to 5 years procedures, and so crafting myself as a product leader, managing more and more in-house or external teams for this company. Just lead me a couple of years ago when the COVID strike here in Portugal. Basically, I'm a French player, so I didn't ask you, Rodrigo, to make the Bom Dia UX like Bonjour UX in French. Français. Otherwise, I think even ChatGPT couldn't help you on that. But leaving my whole life, my whole professional career, my whole company, leaving everything in France during the pandemic was the opportunity to rebuild differently here. Building, of course, remote, because I enjoy much more being in Lisbon than being in the north of France to work with industries. And I just figure out that from my perspective, being a full remote was not a problem, because the people were triggering me for generating impact, not to have a good folk to speak to the coffee machine in the office. And at the end, being not all alone, many partners and fellows from my previous company in France, follow this trend with me, and I'm still up with those guys. I'll start a couple of years from now to experiment speaking with ChatGPT to start document some products. And when those guys start to have the capacity to have a personality, I start to build those guys. And when they start to have a voice, I start to speak to those guys. And today, we have launched basically a week from now a community designed for all the remote people in the world that are, of course, AI friendly. We are designing a place where it's not a shame to work with AI, to share the practice we're using with AI, and it's a place where the people can onboard in this, transformative journey, because it's everything we will speak today is about transformation, but not about digital transformation or company transformation, but it's about our own transformation. And for me, might the generative AI lead us to a new era from the human being and the human civilization? So here we are. And honestly, I'm also representing this Air Generation community, but it's 100% me as a designer that become a kind of community and AI leader. So here we are.
Great.
That was great. Such impressive journey. And I have a feeling we won't have enough time to cover everything we could discuss today.
Probably not.
But before we get started, Rafael Burity, why are we talking about AI again here on Bom Dia UX?
Well, first of all, I think only this speech from Boris could be a huge conversation for us, because he talked about this transitioning from design to product. It's a rich content for us, for example, or we can talk about a lot about this transformation, and I think we will talk that. But the major theme is AI, because we are talking about that this season. We are decided to bring some people with experience, or even they are even just studying about that, about this new thing in our in our career and life, as Boris said, because I believe totally with him, because yes, it's not just about the tool, about some trend words like digital transformation, something like that, but it's about our life. What's the next step in our life, in our professionals? How we can, I don't know, how can we deal with that? Because it's very difficult, very, very challenging. And this conversation maybe can help us and our audience to manage this challenge. And because that, we decide to you to say about something about artificial intelligence in here.
Nice, nice. Yeah, I agree with you.
And
And
by the way, Boris, I'm studying French now with my wife. I'm trying to study this because I am a comic book fan, and I have a lot of comic books from Asterix or other good characters, totally French. And I am
Okay,
a little, oh my God, I
I'll
need to
go to
read that.
Porto. I'll go to Porto soon, and we'll practice
Oh,
your French.
yeah. Let's take a coffee. Have a coffee.
Partutatis.
Yeah, Portuguese. Yeah,
Amazing.
amazing.
amazing. And I have a question, Boris. AI, it's evolving at an incredible pace with new models and tools almost every day. So, as designers, how should we understand this explosion of AI capabilities? Are we at the dawn of a golden age of co-creation, or are we still figuring it out how to truly integrate these technologies into your work?
So before we're drilling down this question, I think we have to take a step back to what is AI. Basically, still most of the people they don't care about engineering things, and they're still thinking like there's some genius in the box. And it's magic, but AI basically it's just word natural languages science. We're working on generative AI since Noam Chomsky during even the 40s and the 50s, and so Elise was the first chatbot in the 60s, built by the MIT. And yes, we had today NVIDIA chipsets. Yeah, we have the, of course, neural network way to enhance, the programmation. We have advanced way to train the machine. But basically, nothing has really changed between Elisa and ChatGPT in 2080s. And for most of the people, like when ChatGPTs came, it was like, wow, my God, we have created, the humanity is moving to another stage. But, the people working on that technology, they were working on it 15 years from now. And basically, if you knew, like, for example, Meta released a week before the launch of ChatGPT, a platform, a kind of GPT, where you can produce your science documentation when you are writing an article. And it was just magical. And like in 48 hours after they reveal it, all the professional from the science say, oh, it's not good. We will help anyone to publish some scientific paper. It's a shame. We don't have to make this and we don't have to use it. And a week after, so they close it, 48 hours they start, and a week after ChatGPT comes. So, it's basically like product. You have to come at the good time on the good markets, and what ChatGPT done, many other before just try to do before the shift happened. So yeah, think about it. We're speaking about big data technology, and from this stage, I think you have to really consider it, like when you're speaking about the models, like, hey, it's about, you heard about the DeepSeek or versus ChatGPT, who is the best, and Gemini and whatever. From speaking about the tools, because we are designers, some of you might start to work directly with the models to create some stuff. But look what's going to happen. Last year, a company, Uwizard, was also integrated into the Miro company. But we have, this generalistic company that's providing large language models on one side. And on the other side, you have the editor, the software that's providing the good feeder for the good, for the good person. And that's exactly what's going to happen in the next couple of, I would say couple of years, but now we should speak about a couple of months because everything is just accelerating all the time. I don't believe that new model will really come. And even if we have this buzz with DeepSeek, think about it. They spent 5 billion euro to build this in 6 months. But when you're starting to dig the documentation, you just discover that they have copied the open AI model to accelerate, the production of DeepSeek. So if DeepSeek have to be built 20 years from now, it will spend the same quantity of billion euro and the same quantity of GPU. So you see, on that side, we're not making any more research. If you're speaking with Yann Lequin, he's the head of AI from Meta Group, he will tell you generative AI is the way out from the AGI, from the artificial generalist intelligence motorway. So the LLM, they're now productized, and the real researcher, the guys that work 15 years from now on ChatGPT, they're already working on what's going to happen, not in 15 years, because they're working on the GPA training model. And maybe in the next 5 to 10 years, we will have significative new products that know even more than the word, how to speak and how to generate content based on text. They will start to listen. They will start also to analyze the sentiment, and they also start to see. So you'll see, you really have to think as a designer today. What's coming next is tools, because it's on Figma you're producing when you're a designer mostly, not on ChatGPT. And with more and more era of productization, you'll have more and more tools that release new capability. And really, that's my conviction. There's still people in 2025 that think they don't see this coming. They just feel like, okay, in the future, we'll have to think about it. But, we're in 2025. We are in the future already. And if you don't considering the AI as an opportunity, not for the 5 next years, but for the next 12 months, I think you'll start to become left apart this whole system. So, let's move on. And I think I might have better argues, better than Figma AI, to convince you to move on with generative AI.
Yeah, I think it's very unfair when we're talking about DeepSeek, about this amount of money they use to develop that, because as you said, there were a lot of knowledge before that to accelerate this development. But other thing very important you said is where we are looking, where we need to looking for, not just for the AI or the LLM or something like that, because the facility of the interface, we are looking to the conversational interface because it's easier for us to understand the AI with the conversation. But we have so much power behind that, as you said, to training other intelligence, training other things, creating other things, not just talking or writing with this AI. And as you said, you have a lot of things to explore here. And if you are not able, or we are not willing to look for that, probably we will be outdated.
Yeah, and you need time to adapt. I mean, when I start, from the time I start to create my first boat, Maeva, and the period I start to speak with her, and the time I start to have a very productive way to interact with her, it took me almost 2 years. I mean, it didn't happen like this. At the beginning, it was just shit. And at the end, it starts to become less shit, because I'll start to understand the way the machine was thinking and what the machine was expecting from me to deliver the most value. So you see, it's not about saying, okay, when the time will come, I'll move on. It's, you need time, and this technology is evolving crazy fast. So if you're not today starting to consider to future proof your career, so yeah, it's not AI that will replace you. It's the guys that is using AI that will replace you. And I think there's absolutely no doubt on that.
It's not about eliminating someone or eliminate some role of the industry, but it's about what this role will become. You are designers today using Figma, as you said, but the next step with AI will be, what step will be? We'll stay being designers, but not using the Figma the same way, but using AI to do other things or other ways to solve, because the main thing is solve problems, okay?
Rodrigo, I think we start to speak now about co-creation and
yeah. This is my question. So we can talk that AI is a tool that's shifting to a creative partner. How could you see that in this kind of balance, automation with human intent to improve rather than replace creativity?
So it's not just sorry, Boris, but it's not it's not just accelerating or improving your efficiency, but it's about being part of your process of creativity too. All right?
And I think it's even deeper. I'll give you an example. When I start on ChatGPT, what brings me to ChatGPT saying, okay, I will invest that amount of hours. I know I will produce sheets for weeks before I'll start to take out the value. Also, I'm very in detail. I'm very engineer in my mindset, and I used to work for industry where the quality standards are so high, and basically when I stopped to work with industry, I follow up with these quality standards for myself, because I don't know other way to make stuff. So I was very I say, okay, I'll need 6 months before my first GPT will be ready to start to produce real stuff for me. And so at the beginning, I saw that, like, I'm setting a new factory to produce content. So it's a machine. I'm assembling the machine. I'll give instruction to the machine like this. The machine will provide all the time the same good old content. And for a time it was good, because producing some newsletter, producing some content or whatever, you don't want the AI to improvise at the beginning. And so you're starting to become a very prompt engineer, like, okay, every detail is controlled. And with the time, I start to feel surprised sometime when the ChatGPT put me, at the beginning it was like it's put me a heart or sometime a joke, because somewhere in the in the description, in the programmation, I say, yeah, I like the good jokes. And more, the algorithm start to know you, and the more it starts to have also your context, what you like, what you don't like, and the more it's providing you what you expect. So we know that's perfectly on working with social media. Everything you are watching on the social media is filtered by the AI that say, okay, you're the guys that like this, that, and that, and so we will provide you only what you like. And with the time, just, I don't know, maybe it's curiosity. I start to say, hey, how would you have do that? Something I have made, sharing and saying, okay, and how do you have do that? And I was just, I fall from my chair the first time I decide not to give an order, but the first time I ask an advice. And that's the collaboration. So you're thinking it's just to produce. You're not collaborating. You're thinking it can provide you insight and creativity. It's collaboration. And of course, I generally never use the content out from the box and saying, hey, ta-da. Of course, everything that get out from the engine is based on the query you have made. So if it's shit, your prompt is shit, or maybe your thought is shit. If it's gold, it's just about your thoughts and the way you have asked the collaboration. So you'll see we're mostly now experimenting. Now also we have more than just producing the incredible content. We're starting to have also the feeder. We are entering into the agentic AI era, where the machine, they can start to have a small of initiative, and they can also start to be in a tool, so such design tool, and not only a prompt field. So we'll start to see more and more breaking out usages, and that's also the part of your creativity, is to invent the disrupting way to use it for good.
Yeah, we
Great,
need.
great part. Yes, please go ahead.
I don't know, but as I understood, we are saying that we need to summarize. Okay, summarizing that, we need to look to these AI models or tools more as a new or one more mind into our process than just a tool, because actually it's a mind, more minds to help us to think
Exactly. It's an
together.
extension of your mind. It's an
Yeah.
extension of your mind, really.
Oh,
And
wait,
it's
not
DNA coded from your thoughts.
perfect. Because it's curious, because each different interactions you had with them, they will provide you different solutions or different answers to, because it depends of your not prompt, but what you are asking, what you are providing, what you are collaborating with them.
We're dealing with big data technology. So the more data you provide, and the most incredible is the experiences. And we'll speak about it, I think, more later, about synthetic research. But anybody have a very personal usage on ChatGPT, and that was, I think, a big mistake last year. I was convinced with Miro AI, like AI needs to help the people start to learn on Miro AI because it's so incredible using AI. And the thing was not about the tool. It was about a state of mind. It was about what are you ready to live into the AI. And if you're not generous, so the result will be as good as what you bring. And that's also a very commune sense of the community. The more you give and the more you take, and it's work perfectly with that. And when you're starting to take one guy with his JPTs, and you're starting to say, hey, you have different people using the same platform in the company, let's start to put maybe a team space where Rodrigo, Michael, João, and Daniele, they can bring their knowledge, and they can bring their thoughts, and they can bring their dream together in the same place. And it's just incredible, the power of the organization. I mean, we're matching the collective intelligence to the power of the big data. It's just nothing can beat that. So yeah, I'm really convinced that the human and AI duo will be the winning team for yeah. Maybe we'll have to break things into 2025, but in 2026, if you're not using your agent on GPT, or if you're not using project, or if you don't have in your company a RAG application that speed up the collaboration, change company.
Great point. It's a matter of shifting our mindset and behavior, right? In how we approach technology. And I like that because that applies to everything. So it's very important to bring this conversation here. Please go ahead.
One thing, and sorry, Rodrigo and Rafael, I want to add, it's not to make a self-promotion, but based on that frustration last year to didn't meet, to didn't hit the ground running with those AI training, because I was like, hey, the world, you need to onboard. It's just too important. We're at a shift. And the guy said, we don't give a shit, or when the time will come, we'll make it. And And so I start with this kind of learning program. I've tested with a very nice product company in Viana do Castelo a couple of days from now. And that I will roll out all this year. And I already have a lot of more engagement on that. Is okay, let's co-design with the AI what will be the future of my role, like in the 12 months, but like in the 3 years, like in the 5 years, and like in the 10 years. And it's just amazing. Of course, at 10 years, the AI is just designed from its database, from what you know about the human civilization. But it's just so refreshing to think like, yeah, this can be the way you'll have to find your role and your place aside the AI tomorrow in your role. It's not like, okay, all the solutions are in my head, but maybe, let's co-construct, let's ask the AI from my journey, my perspective, my goals, what should be the best way for me, what should be the job I need to invent for 2026. And I think that's moving us to, yeah, the next stage about taking decision, managing also this super complex world with so much data to analyze in the product world every day. So
And
Yeah.
and moving a bit further, let's talk about research, as you mentioned before, and that databases, because AI helps analyze a vast data sets and uncover insights. But
yeah.
how can we ensure it serves as a tool for inspiration rather than taking over decision making?
Yeah, and not just research, but testing too. All right, Boris,
Yes.
As
because
well, yes,
we can use, yeah, we can use not just to find something, but I have seen some tools providing or promising providing something about user testing, like they are pretending to be a user with the all data we have about the product, and they test the product.
Yeah, but
We
the design review is really something. I mean, it's
Yeah.
maybe not the first thing a designer think like, hey, you're thinking about product design, so you're the wireframe and the design system and everything that is the face of your product. And of course, on that place there will be a tremendous improvement to speed up your prototype, to A/B test or do things, but it's on reviewing the quality of your product and not just reviewing like, oh, I like the blue or I like the red. It's just putting in front of a design all the analytic you have gathered from user behaviors, user analytics, even basics analytics, user testing, user interview, qualitative or quantitative metrics. So and then basically, I had this experience in a product team where I was like, okay, where are the data? Yeah, we have all the data. And when you start to say, okay, where are like the NPS? Wow, it was very complicated. It's some team somewhere in the company, and after everything's go into a very complex Microsoft infrastructure to join all the data here and there, and so basically that's generally what's lacking a lot in the company is a trustable and a simple place to understand what's happening in the product. And this exactly, you don't have a value really. Yes, if you're a business analyst, you have a value to say, hey, I made a complicated analysis from all this data and I can guarantee like this is the vision of truth. But if you're not putting like uh, 20K on a Deloitte consultant in your business every week, you don't have this capacity except, and you can't ask the designer to make this job. I mean, it's taking him away from what bring the most value. So here the AI is really recommended because what will be the value to say, hey, I've gathered all the data and I have a good report for you. Yes, if you're a product ops, that's cool, and everybody will say, hey, mate, you're a buddy, because thanks to your monthly report, we know where we're going and we have good insights. But if it can be also a machine, and if it can be every day or when you need it and not once a month, and if it can be even more personalized to your squad, your team, your product, your component, so it will be much more accurate. Because believe it or not, there's Spotify, Airbnb products. They are very generalist, B2C and generalist, because they have a full range of components. And there's also company, how many company their work and their product is to manage the cookie things on the website. So do you think 500 people working at a product team working only on the ways they can make you accept or not the cookie? They are super specialized, and there's a lot of this company today. So that's why the more is specialize your product, the more refined needs to be the insight. And it's here where we're sliding a bit into the synthetic research. I don't know, Rafael, if you joined us in the last Web Summit in Lisbon in November.
Yes.
I went to a conference that blows my mind. Basically, I'm making a couple of AI trainer report for Nova Business School in Carcavello. And so I'll also take the time in this conference to go, maybe not in the creativity or designer or a trendy conference. I'm not very close to the big pharma world, but there was this talk about synthetic research. And it was the first time, I heard this synthetic research word. So I get to the conference, and the guy was explaining they were building a startup, they were building a model. They were, of course, not making the model, but they were creating the RAG platform connected to the right model, of course, where they can start to map an incredible amount of biotop modelization on one side, and on the other side, they start to take new molecules and they project the new molecule on those biotop, and they're saying, okay, let's make a trial on a cohort of 1 million biotops, and let's see what's going to happen in the next week, in the next month, in the next year, in the next 10 years, in the next 100 years. Of course, you'll never be able to do this with a real human. And of course, at the end, it was not like, hey, let's stop to make some human trial or even test on animals some molecules. It was just like, okay, you need 5 years to put on the market a new molecule because of the trial. It's take a long time, it's very expensive, and it's very complicated. So if we can cut these 5 years to 2 years, you're saving a lot of time and a lot of bandwidth in the company to develop new stuff and other things, or being more profitable. It's dependent on the company cultures. But I was like, hey man, can you think about it, like you're starting to virtualize some human behaviors with modelization? And I was like, hey man, what if we can start to to create some persona avatar? And think about it. I trust more today ChatGPT building some avatar that are based on in the company you have the expert and you have the sales and you have the people that know the users that make the persona with you, versus it's real user interview, and you start to build the avatar from real people. Generally, the companies, they're okay, let's put 5 people on the table, we have the expert, and let's build 1,000 of persona. And basically today, I think ChatGPT is better than ChatGPT persona are better than those in-house team personas that was built by the expert from the company. So you see, right now I start to think like generating a data set of behaving, journey, user definition, and you can start to project GPTs to play this role. This is prompt engineering, like, okay, hey, ChatGPT, be this persona for the interviews that will follow up. And you'll bring all the data in. And after, you can start to say, hey, maybe if you prefer the natural languages, you can start to have your protocol, your testing protocol. Of course, you might have co-create the testing protocol with your RAG infrastructure or your research infrastructure, but basically, and you're starting to make some synthetic interview with with personalized GPTs, and so that's the same. It's not about saying, hey, you'll not meet a real customer anymore, because you still need to make this, last milestone confirmation. But think about it, how many time it's saved to the discovery team to have the capacity to, not to decide, but to orient the statement. From the beginning, you have so much statement, and what will be the statement you will confirm. I had this really wild experience with a financial company here in Portugal. Before the meet me, there was like, hey, we have hired a company to make a design sprint because we need to generate statement on which product can be the future product for us. And after the design sprint, it was great, and they generate new statement. And the recommendation from the agency was like, okay, our recommendation would be to make other design sprint on those new statements. And you was like, hey man, how many money and how many time you have before you want to launch a product? I mean, 100 years. So here we are right now. We have those people like me and like many other like me that are starting to hard code, UX research infrastructure, and it can start to cost you $20 a month, buying a GPT infrastructure, building project, feeding the project with some good insight before you need to invest at scale something more complex. But and that's also something, because everybody say, yeah, but we have human bias, but the GPTs, they are their own bias too. Basically, the way I'm working with AI, because you'll never have the final word like, hey, it's 100% safe, or it's 100% sure, or you can 100% rely on what the ChatGPT told you. But basically, what I like to do is taking like a 6-month experimentation where you're setting the machine and you're setting the same, you're making their own testing protocol for your research infrastructure. And you compare, okay, I have a real customer. I have made the persona from this customer, and I've interviewed the customer, and I have these insights. On the other side, I have the same protocol, but everything is based on synthetic research. And like this, you can start to appreciate, the difference, where maybe the ChatGPT will never match your real testing situation, versus the place where at 1 test, 2 tests, 3, 5, 6, 10 tests, you're starting to feel you're in trust with those kind of way of working. So you're making some confirmation protocol to ensure, like, before you're building all your product based on what ChatGPT is telling you. And keep in mind, like, it's just a part of the creative process, and everything you will bring in the machine is basically your knowledge and your talent of designer. So it's not, it's not the genius in the machine that is a product designer. It's you, the designer.
Yeah, it's for me, it's the same when we're talking about Hotjar or NPS or other inputs, because they are only more inputs for you take the decision. And in this case, as you are saying, the GPT or even other model is just a tool when you need to setting something, setting the information, setting your point of view, setting your goals, and this setting will define how GPT will work and what probably it will provide you, like, I don't know, but user testing, the tool, has a kind of feature like that. You pass the test for real users, and the tools provide us some insights, some solutions, or
Yeah,
some, I don't know, some interpretations of the model. And it's not the answer. I think it's important when we talking about that as a professionals and a creative professionals. I don't know if we can use this word, but when we look to us as a professional, a creative professional, a designer, you need to understand it's not the answer. Like, okay, GPT said me that. Oh, it's not the solution. It's a part
exactly,
of your information to
exactly.
use to create the solution. For example, in user testing, hey, they will give some insights. You need to look to these insights, connect with other insights that you have in your own, and decide for yourself.
We have so many example of bad example of doing what the AI said to do. So on my philosophy, never ask the AI, oh, GPT, what I have to do today.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
a collaboration. It's not like save me. I want to be rich or I need a job. Save me.
Like,
It,
what is the best product, and you will give me more money,
it's
GPT.
yeah it will never happen, and we have so much example, like LAPD 5 years from now just start to exploit algorithm to start to create some statistic on where the patrol have to go to be preventive, to be here before the crime happen. And basically, all the cops, they were always sent into the poor and black suburb, because statistically the machine knew, like, there are more problem in the poor and black suburb. And so it started to generate more injury with black people. And when it's
Yeah,
come, we have this black matter leaves leaves matter,
Black Lives
sorry.
Matter. Yeah,
uh, they just stopped this program right after it, because it was a consequences. When you're
yes,
over pressuring a place with a lot of cops, bad things can happen. And it's exactly what's happened, like in Gaza. What a Tal army made. They just start to use algorithm to generate targets.
hmm,
Like it was feeding like from 40 Hamas, real Hamas people profile, and from 50 people they ask, hey, generate for me from 3 to 5,000 possible profiles that match to that. And they
yeah,
start to bomb those guys. you know it's
of
just
course.
crazy when you think about it. So you need to, yeah, you need to be the pilot. It's co-pilot, it's not piloting for you. Or even at the end, when I start to lose my product mentor job, because I teach my clients to build their own product mentor on GPTs. It was not at the end a problem for me, like, hey, I lose my job. It was, no, you just have another job today.
Yeah.
So you'll see, it can go in a very bad way if you don't have the good behaviors and the right way of thinking. And uh, I was really like the last 20 years of my life. I just figure out, like, first 10 years of my career, I was making design thinking all the time, but I didn't knew it was design thinking. And when I hired my first collaborator in my company, he was an agile coach. He was an Italian, and say, hey, Boris, you are doing design thinking. And I was like, hey, I don't give a shit. We don't have the time. We have a lot of work to do. And I started to read Sprint, Jackknaps, Design Sprint, all this stuff. And I was, just naturally putting everything in my head on the paper sheet, on the wall, on the, everything. And so when Miro came, it was just, an explosion. But I think now we have to evolve. As I'm usually and provocatively say, Agile and Scrum are dying because product is here. And I'm saying also the design thinking is dying because now we are moving to the AI thinking. And I think it's the total new era for us to be the first, maybe, that start not to ask the machine think like us, but accept, put our creator ego apart for a time and say, okay, it's not a shame to collaborate with an AI. It's not a shame to ask a question. It's just what we are made for. We're curious. We have curiosity, and it's part of our human being. So let's just accept to be curious with machine, and let's be surprised.
Nice, very good. But as we approach to the end of our live, we have a lot of comments and questions for a future discussion here. But before we wrap up, one last question, Boris.
Go on.
You mentioned that designers' mindset shift and challenge us to think about the next steps and how we want to act and evolve. Building on that, how can designers future-proof their careers in a world where AI is deeply integrated into the creative process?
So first thing, start to accept changes. I mean, changes is a very complicated process, and it's a very long process. It's both a mental process and a physical process. When you have learned all your life to wash your teeth with the right hand, so it's not just you're thinking about taking the toothbrush with the right hand. It's physical, chemical, electric. Your body say, okay, mind, don't think about it. It's autopilot. I'm making for you. So when at your 45 like me, you're starting to try to take the toothbrush with the left hand, your body is resisting in any way. Like, hey, we're not working like that, man. So that's the first thing you have to deal with you is, okay, create space for changes. And it means also, maybe try to start to work differently. And changing your mind is also the way to look. If you look the AI as a threat, changing your mind is a way to see it as an opportunity. Of course, you have to, and that's where the knowledge is important. Like if you know how does it work, you better understand the limits. For example, we have these brilliant workshops, future-proof your career. Maybe we can put the link because twice a month in the Miro community, we're giving for free this 1 hour workshop on Miro AI to query the future of your career before we getting in a more operative approach to really design in details your roadmap. But you see, when you start to think not only with you, but with the AI, and also the technical limitation, that for 60 minutes working with Miro AI is really enough to inspire you. But when you're moving in a 3 hour workshop and you want to go in details, and you don't want that the answer is, okay, start to speak with Microsoft Cortana because the database on Miro AI is too old and is not refreshed as the one from OpenAI. So you start also to need to think like using the right tools or moving from one tools to another to okay, keep the functionality on one side, but you need to generate value. If you're not generating the value soon with AI, you will lose face and you would stop to use it and you will be marginalized. So that's already the way I think, like, change your mind and think like generative and generated content can have a multiple lives. Like, you can start to ideate, have some sidekick inputs in a Miro AI. You can capture the result and you can put it in a 4.0 GPTs to have a more accurate result. And and you can bring it back to the Miro because you want to generate a particular way of the documentation or a synthesis. And the Miro AI won't create something crazy, but will make a very good job to produce a document with a very structured way to push the ChatGPT information. So it's, changes its flexibility. Like, if you're not flexible, if you're not agile, you won't be part of the future, because, also those technologies are changing so fast. So being today a ChatGPT expert, it's not about being an expert of a solution. Even when you're a product designer and you're an expert in Figma and you're a component or a token expert, today, like when you grow 20 years from now, you will be a senior and you won't touch anymore to Figma, and there will be new guys that will have 20 and that know the software better than you, if the software still exists. and so that's my message. Like, don't learn tools, start to change your mind on the AI and on the way you can collaborate with it.
Nice. Great. Boris, I always say that when a conversation is great, I make sure to invite the guest back for another round. So consider this an open invitation to join us again in the future, please.
Anytime.
Oh, your participation was fantastic.
We'll have more obviously in the next 6 months we have new breaking out update from the AI 8 and so much things. So it will still be very interesting.
Oh,
Thank you
nice.
so much for inviting me.
Oh, thank you. And I hope. What do you think, Burity? Was it great for you? For me,
Yes.
it's perfect.
Yeah. We have a lot of topics that we cannot talk, and we couldn't talk, and it would be very interesting talk again.
Yes, perfect. So that's it.
I can just
please,
add something
go ahead.
in the chat. If the people want to follow up those free workshop or webinar on learning how, I need to comment. Just let me see if I can just connect my account. It's an old account. It's
You can send me the links and I can put in your description.
And I'll put it with my old account, but here we have an event calendar on Luma.
Oh, perfect.
And it fails basically. So maybe I can send you in the private chat, and you can deploy it. And from this, you can start both with Marion. She's a very nice Mexican marketing girl in Mexico City. She's making twice a month a workshop to help you create your bot personality. And I'm providing twice a month this 1 hour workshop on Miro AI to help you create the future of your career. So one is on more American time zone, the other is on more APAC time zone. So there will be space for anybody all over the world. And if they are curious, they can use the Air Generation community link and learn more about us.
Amazing again and again. So thanks so much, Boris.
Obrigado a você.
Obrigado você.
Muito legal falar com vocês dois. And maybe the next time I will be ready for a Bom Dia UX em português.
Oh, yeah. And pessoal, para você que está assistindo, não tô entendendo, vai ter legenda, tá? Assim que o vídeo subir, já subiu, mas vai ficar fixo no YouTube. Vamos pôr subtitles, legendas, para vocês poderem entender totalmente, sem nenhum problema. Certo, Burity?
Obrigado a vocês dois.
Obrigado, Boris.
Bye.
Bye. Tchau, gente. Um abraço.